You know, in Taoism, Master Sun teaches that you cannot know what is not beautiful until you know beauty. You cannot understand a lie until you know the truth. You must understand justice to recognize social injustice.
Wow, that's deep. Who are you exactly?
TCOM, private investigator. You see, we all seek to learn and become the best possible versions of ourselves. We use education and experience to build a reliable and consistent view of our world. This view guides us in our decisions on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes we call it values, sometimes skills or knowledge, but all of these are things we have learned through our experiences. When we realize we don't know something, we seek more information.
Is that what you're doing here?
Oh yes. There's a mystery to be solved here. You don't know what you don't know.
Welcome to the TCOM Heuristic of the Month.
Why heuristics?
What are heuristics?
How do you spell heuristics?
Well, because the work of supporting people's transformational journey is really challenging.
To drive change, we must do effective work.
That requires great plans, and those plans need to derive from a person's story.
Heuristics are decision guides.
They're helpful tips,
Mental shortcuts.
That can help you do all the great work efficiently.
So let's get into it.
It's the TCOM Heuristic of the Month.
You've all been brought here for one important reason. You all know something, but you don't know everything.
I like to watch YouTube videos when I need some information.
I usually ask my life coach's life coach.
My podcast listeners rely on me to tell them what to think. So it's not good for business to admit that I don't know something. So I've usually got a wiki standing by to help me out.
When we recognize a knowledge gap, most of us are quite good at coming up with a learning plan.
But what happens when we don't know what we don't know? When we have blinders on and simply don't realize that there's critical information we're missing?
That seems like a much bigger challenge.
Yeah, how can you explore things if you're not even aware that they exist?
Feedback. When our world confronts us with our ignorance, it creates one of two reactions. Sometimes we have both reactions in sequence. The first is denial.
It's pretty natural to want to reject feedback that suggests we don't know something.
It can be uncomfortable to admit a lack of knowledge to yourself, and it can also be embarrassing to admit it to others.
It's a very common response to discussions of cultural bias.
That's right. Some people feel attacked when confronted with the realities of racism, sexism, homophobia, and so much more. It can make having an open dialogue on those topics very difficult.
Denial is a powerful defense against having to know or acknowledge what we do not know.
But can't we create an open embrace of feedback and consider the possibility that there are things we're not even aware of?
Of course. Embracing feedback is the second possible reaction to a knowledge void.
When our jobs are to listen to people and then try to help them, it can be really challenging to stay completely open and seek out the things we don't know. We have to keep so many things in our minds and be on top of a lot of details. It doesn't leave much room for feedback.
But it's critical to try, right? Nobody's perfect and we won't get it right every time. But it's our job to work at being open to new ideas.
Sometimes it can be a look, or body language, or the way someone's voice changes just a bit when talking about a certain topic. There are often subtle hints suggesting we might be missing something.
That means avoiding concrete thinking, understanding that people's stories change over time, and that the context of each situation will be different.
And acknowledging that even though I may have experienced similar situations many times in my career, I should never assume that this time it will be the same. I need to remain open to all the information that's out there in the world.
Like a detective.
Yeah, true. Hey, you never really told us what you're here investigating.
That's right. I didn't. You don't know what you don't know.